All right, folks, we're back. Another epic adventure here. Doing it George Lucas style. First we read the sequel, and now we're reading the prequel. The Iliad by Homer. Starting us off here, Book 1, Part 1, Chapter 1. How Achilles and Agamemnon quarreled over Briseis, and how Thetis persuaded Zeus to support her son. Whoever those people are, we recognize some of those names, though. Well, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Book 1. An angry man. There is my story. The bitter rancor of Achilles, prince of the house of Peleus, which brought 1,000 troubles upon the Achaean host. Many a strong soul it sent down to Hades, and left the heroes themselves, a prey to dogs and carrion birds, while the will of God moved on to fulfillment. It began, first of all, with a quarrel between my lord King Agamemnon of Atreus's line, and the prince Achilles. What god then made the feud between them? Apollo, son of Leto and Zeus. The king had offended him, so he sent a dire pestilence on the camp, and the people perished. Agamemnon had affronted his priest Chryses. When the priest came to the Achaean fleet, bringing a rich treasure to ransom his daughter, he held in his hand the golden staff, twined about with the sacred wreaths of Apollo Shutafar. Apollo Shutafar. And made his petition to the Achaean people in general, but chiefly to the 2 royal princes of Atreus's line. My lords, and you their subjects, for you I pray that the gods who dwell in Olympus may grant you to sack Priam's city, and to have a happy return home. But my dear daughter, set her free, I beseech you, and accept this ransom, and respect Apollo Shutafar, the son of Zeus. Then all the people said good words, and bade them respect the priest and accept the ransom. But my lord, King Agamemnon, was not well pleased. He told the priest to be off, and in harsh words, too. Don't let me find you here any more, you. Don't stay now, and don't come again. Or else your staff and sacred wreaths may not protect you. The woman I will not release. She shall live to old age in our house, far away in Argos, working the loom and lying in my bed. Be gone now. Don't provoke me, or it will be the worse for you. The old man was afraid, and did as he was told. Silent he passed along the shore of the murmuring sea, and when he came home he prayed earnestly to Apollo. Hear me, Silverbow. Hear me, Silverbow. Thou who dost bestride Chrysia and holy Scylla, Caesar K's, we know that. Thou who art the mighty lord of Tenedos, O Smithnius, if I have ever built a temple to thy pleasure, if I have ever burnt for thee fat slices of bulls or of goats, bestow on me this boon. Yeah, Homer's cooking already. Bestow on me this boon. May the Danaans pay for my tears under thy shafts. Phoebus Apollo heard his prayer. Down from Olympus he strode, angry at heart, carrying bow and quiver. The arrows rattled upon his shoulders as the angry god moved on, looking black as night. He sank upon his heel not far from the ships and let fly a shaft. Terrible was the twang of the silver bow. First he attacked the mules and dogs. Then he shot his keen arrows at the men, and each hit their mark. Pyres of the dead began to burn up everywhere and never ceased. 9 days the gods' arrows fell on the camp, and on the 10th day Achilles summoned all to a conference. The goddess Hera put this in his mind, for she was distressed to see the Danaans dying. And when they were all gathered together, Achilles rose up and spoke. My lord king, he said, I think we shall seem just foiled adventurers when we get home. if indeed we get off with our lives. Now you see war and pestilence allied to beat us. Come then, let us inquire of some prophet or priest or even a diviner of dreams, for God, it seems, doth send our dreams, and let him tell us what has made Phoebus Apollo so angry. Does he find fault with us for prayer or for sacrifice? Does he desire the savor of sheep or goats without blemish, that he may spare us this pestilence? He had his say, and sat down. Then rose up Calchas, so Thester, most excellent diviner of dreams, who knew what is and what will be, and what has been in ancient days. He had guided the fleet to Ilios by the divination which Phoebus Apollo had taught him. He spoke to them from an honest heart, and said, Prince Achilles, whom Zeus delights to honor, you bid me explain the wrath of Lord Apollo Shootiphar, therefore I will speak. Mark what I say, and swear me an oath that you will defend me with all your might in word and deed. For I think I shall provoke a man who rules all our people, one whom all the people obey. A king, when angry, always can be stronger than a common man, even if he smothers his anger for the day, yet indeed he keeps a grudge long in his heart, until he can pay it off. Consider then, if you will, hold me safe. Achilles answered, Fear nothing, but speak the word of God which you know. For I swear by Apollo, whom Zeus delights to honor, to whom you pray, Calchas, when you declare God's word to the nation, no man, while I live and see the light, shall lay heavy hands on you in this fleet. None of all the nation, not even if you name Agamemnon, who now claims to be first and best of us all. Then the seer took courage and spoke out. He finds no fault with us then, for prayer or sacrifice, but for his priest, whom Agamemnon affronted, when he would not accept a ransom and set his daughter free. For his sake Shootiphar has sent us trouble, and will send. Nor will he stay the noisome pestilence among our people, until the king gives back to the father his lovely girl, unbought, unransomed, and sends a solemn sacrifice to Reissue. Then we may trust that the god will be appeased. No sooner had he sat down, than rose up my lord King Agamemnon in his majesty. He was displeased. The dark places in his heart were full of resentment. His eyes were like flashing fire. And he began by rating Calchas. Prophet of evil, you have never had a decent word for me. It is always your delight to prophesy evil. But good you have never said and never done. And now you get up and harangue the people with your oracles. So that is the reason why Shootiphar sends trouble. Because of that girl, Chryseis? Because I would not accept the ransom, but I want to keep her myself and take her home? Why, I like her better than my own wife, Clytemnestra. Oh, her, yeah, we remember her. Clytemnestra. She is just as good in face or figure, brains or fingers. Never mind, I will give her back if that is better. I would rather have the people alive than dead. Duh. Only get a prize ready for me at once, or else I shall be the only man in the army without a prize. That is not right. Just look here, all of you, my prize is going away somewhere else. Then Achilles answered, Your Majesty, gettings are keepings with you. There's no doubt about that. Pray, how will our brave men give you a prize? I do not know of any common store anywhere. What we got from the towns we have taken has been divided, and you cannot expect people to collect it all again in a heap. For the present, then, give the girl up to the god, and we will pay you threefold or fourfold, if Zeus ever allows us to sack the proud city of Troy. A little foreshadowing there, methinks? King Agamemnon answered, None of that. You may be a great man, Achilles. You may be more than a man, but do not try cheating. You will neither cajole me nor persuade me. Do you want to keep your own? Do you do you want to keep your own prize and tell me to give up mine and just sit forlorn without any? If our brave men will give me a prize and satisfy me that I get as much as I give, well and good. But if they will not give, then I will take. I'll come to you or to Aias for a prize, or Odysseus, and away. Oh, Odysseus, the only name dropped him. We know him. And away I'll go with my gettings. Then it will be his turn to be angry. But we will see about that later. For the time being, let us launch a good ship and find a special crew and put Chryses on board. And let one of the princes from our council be in charge. Aias, or Idomeneus, or Prince Odysseus, or yourself, my young friend, you terror of the world, you shall pacify Shutafar by making sacrifice. Achilles scowled at him and said, Greedy heart, shamelessness, in royal dress. How could any man be willing to obey you, whether on some errand or in the battlefield? Whether on some errand or in the battlefield. I cared nothing about the Trojans when I came here to fight. They had done nothing to me. Never lifted my cattle or horses either. Never destroyed my fruit or my harvest in Phthia. Too many hills and forests between us and roaring seas. No, it was you I came for, shameless man, to give you pleasure, to revenge Menelaus. Menelaus, oh, we know him. Menelaus. And you too, dogface, for the Trojans wrong. For the Trojans is wrong. You don't trouble about that, you care nothing for that. And now you threaten to rob me of my prize, which I worked hard to get, which the army gave me. I never get a prize equal to yours if our men capture some town, but most of the hard fighting is done by my hands. Only when sharing time comes you get most of the goods, and I have a scrap to comfort me. Not much, but all I can get, as I come back tired out with fighting. Now I will just go home to Phthia, since it is much better to take ship and go, and I don't think I shall fill my hold with riches if I stay here despised. Yeah, you go, Achilles, you tell him. King Agamemnon answered, Do go. If that's what you want, go by all means. I do not sink on my knees and beg you to stay for my sake. I have others in plenty who will honor me, first and foremost Zeus Allwise. I hate you more than any prince on earth, for you are always quarreling and fighting. If you are such a mighty man, God gave you that, I suppose. Go home with your ships and your men and lord it over. Your Myrmidons. Oh, we know that. We remember the Myrmidons. The Myrmidons. But I care nothing for you. I don't mind if you are in a rage. Now I give you fair warning. Since Apollo robs me of Chryseis, I will send her home with my own ship and crew, but I will take your beautiful, for your, no, it can't be Chryseis and Briseis, that can't be, right? I will take your beautiful Briseis, and I will come for her myself to your quarters, for your prize, to show you how much stronger I am than you are. Then others will take care not to stand up to me and say they are as good as I am. This pierced Achilles to the heart, and he was of two minds, whether he should draw sword from thigh to push through the crowd and strike down King Agamemnon, or whether he should calm his temper and keep himself in check. As these thoughts went through his mind, and he began to draw the great sword from the sheath, Athena came down from heaven. Queen Hera sent her, loving and anxious at once. She stood behind him and held him back by his long red hair. No other man saw her, but Achilles alone. Achilles turned round startled. At once he knew Pallas Athene. His eyes flashed wildly, and he spoke words that winged like arrows to the mark. Why have you come again, daughter of Zeus Invincible? To see the insult of my lord King Agamemnon? I'll tell you what. And I will do it too. His own high-handedness one day may be his death. Athena replied, with her bright eyes glinting, I came to check your passion, if you will listen, and I was sent from heaven by Queen Hera, loving and anxious at once. Come, come, drop the quarrel. Don't pull out that sword. Just give him a sound rating and tell him what to expect. For I declare to you that this is what will happen. A time will come when you shall have a magnificent offer, with 3 times as much offered to make up for this insult. Hold back now, and do what I say. Achilles answered, I must observe the bidding of you both, goddess, angry though I am indeed. It is better so. What the gods command you do, then the gods will listen to you. So he stayed his heavy hand on the silver hilt and drove back the sword into the sheath. In obedience to Athena, she returned to Olympus, where Zeus Invincible dwells, with the company of heaven. But Achilles was angry still. Once more he addressed the king in violent words. You drunkard with eyes like a bitch and heart like a fawn! You never arm yourself with your men for battle. You never go out on a raid with the fighting men. No pluck in you for that. You think that's certain death. Ha! It is much better, isn't it, to stay in camp and rob anyone who tells the truth to your face. The king feeds on his people, for they are a worthless lot. Or else, my lord, this would be your last outrage. But one thing I will tell you, and take my solemn oath, as truly as this staff, will never grow again. Never again will put forth leaves and twigs after it has been cut from the stump in the mountain forest, and the axe has scraped off leaves and bark. But now it is held in men's hands, men of judgment who guard the statutes of Zeus. Hear my solemn oath to you. So truly a time shall come when Achilles will be missed by the nation, one and all. Then you shall not be able to help them for all your grief. While many are falling and dying before bloodthirsty Hector. Oh, Hector. You remember him, kinda. While many are falling and dying before bloodthirsty Hector. Then you shall tear your temper to tatters that you would not respect the best man of all. As he spoke, Achilles dashed down on the ground the gold-studded staff, and took his seat again, while King Agamemnon opposite fumed with rage. But Nestor rose, a famous orator he was, gracious in speech, whose voice ran off his tongue sweeter than honey. He had seen already in Pylos 2 generations of men grow up before him and pass away, and he was king still over the 3rd. He now spoke with an honest heart and said, For shame, sirs! Here is a great trouble for the Achaean land. Achaean land. Right? Achaean land. How glad Priam would be, and Priam's sons, how all Troy would be in jubilation, if they could only hear you 2 quarreling. You, the leaders in wisdom and leaders in war. Now listen to me. You are both younger than I am. Nay more, I have met even better men than you, and they never disregarded me. For never have I seen, and never shall I see, such men as Perithous and the great ruler Darius, Hanius and Exadius, and the noble prince Polyphemus. Not the cannibal monster of Odysseus. Ah, okay. I tell you, those were the mightiest men ever born upon earth. Mightiest, I say, and fought against mightiest foes, the monsters of the mountains. Centaurs. Whom they horribly destroyed. Yes, those men I knew well. I traveled all the way from distant Pylos to visit them at their own request, and I fought by their side as a volunteer. Those were men whom no mortal now living on earth could fight. And they heard my advice, and took it too. Listen to me then, you also, and take my advice, and you will find it better. You, sir, do not rob this man of the girl. Although you are strong, leave her alone. as the army gave her to him at first for his especial prize. And you, Achilles, do not provoke your king. Force against force, for greater honor belongs to a sceptered king, when Zeus has given him dignity. If you are a mighty man, if your mother is divine, yet he is above you, for his dominion is greater. Yet he is above you, for his dominion is greater. Your grace, forget your bitterness, and I beseech Achilles to let his anger pass, for he is the strong tower of our nation against the horrors of war. Wow. He's really pumping Achilles up here. King Agamemnon answered, Indeed, sir, all that you say is fair and right, but this man wishes to be above all, to rule everyone, to be king over everyone, to order everyone about. And there is someone who will not obey, I think. If the gods everlasting have set him up as a warrior, does it follow that they have set him on to call ugly names? Achilles interposed and said, Yes, for I should be called coward and outcast, if I yield to you in everything you choose to say. Lay your commands on others. Don't order me about, for I do not think I shall obey you any more. I tell you one thing, and you will do well to remember it. I will never use my hands to fight for a girl, either with you or with anyone. Those who gave may take away, but you shall never carry off anything else of what I have against my will. Just try and see, that these also may know. Very soon there will be red blood on the spear point. They finished their bout of hard words and dismissed the assembly. Achilles, with Patroclus and his friends, returned to his quarters. Agamemnon launched a good ship and put on board 20 men with the sacrifice and brought Reissue. Odysseus took charge, and they set sail. Then Agamemnon ordered the people to purify themselves. They cast their peace offerings into the sea, and slew bulls and goats on the shore to make full sacrifice to Apollo, and the savor went up to heaven through the wreathing smoke. While all this business was going on, Agamemnon did not forget his quarrel with Achilles, and the threats he had made. He called his 2 trusty servants, the heralds, Talthybius, and Eurybates, Talthybius and Eurybates, and gave them his orders. Go to the quarters of Prince Achilles. Take Briseis by the hand and bring her here. If he will not... Briseis? Or is it Briseis? Take Briseis? Yes. Briseis. Might be Briseis. Take Briseis and Croesus. It can't be Briseis and Croesus. Oh well. Take Briseis by the hand and bring her here. If he will not give her up, I will come with a larger party and take her myself, which will be more unpleasant for him. So he sent his envoys with strict orders. They did not like their errand, but they went along the shore to a place where the Myrmidons had their ships. They found Achilles sitting before his hut, and he was not pleased to see them. They indeed were both afraid and ashamed before the young prince. They only stood and said nothing to him, and asked nothing, but he understood what they wanted, and spoke. Heralds, I greet you, for the envoy is held sacred by gods and men. Come near. I find no fault in you, but in Agamemnon, who has sent you for the girl, Briseis. Here, Patroclus, my friend, bring out the girl and let them take her away. Let them both be witnesses before the blessed gods and mortal men, and before this hard-hearted king, if ever the people shall need me to stand between them and dire destruction. Indeed, he is mad with fury and cannot look both before and behind, so that his army may live to fight before our camp. Patroclus heard him and brought out the beautiful Briseis, and handed her over to the envoys. Then they returned to their ships, and the woman followed them unwillingly. But Achilles burst into tears and went apart from his friends. He threw himself down by the grey salt sea, and gazing over the waters, stretched out his hands, calling loudly to his mother. Oh, my mother, I was born to die young, it is true. But honor I was to have from Zeus Olympian, thunderer on high. And now he has not given me one little bit. Yes, my lord King Agamemnon has insulted me. He has taken my prize and keeps it. He has robbed me himself. His divine mother heard his sorrowful cry, as she sat in the depths of the sea beside her ancient father. Who is this guy's mother and father? As she sat in the depths of the sea beside her ancient father? Quickly, she shot up like a mist out of the gray sea, and sat down beside her weeping son. She stroked him with her hand and said, My child, why do you weep? What is your trouble? Tell me, don't hide it. Then we shall both know. Achilles answered, You know. Why should I talk when you know everything? We attacked Thebe, the Aeaean's famous city. We sacked the place and carried off everything. The spoil was divided, and they chose for Agamemnon a beautiful girl. Crisis. It could be Crisis, actually. And that would be Brisis. Maybe. Crises, because that's Crisis, right? And then that could be Crises. The priest of Apollo, Shutafar, came to our camp with a heap of treasure to ransom his daughter. He carried a golden staff twined about with the sacred reeds of Apollo Shutafar, and made his prayer to the whole people, but especially to the two royal princes. All the people spoke good words and told them to respect the priest and accept the ransom, but my lord Agamemnon did not like it. He told them to be off, and rudely too. The old man went away very angry, and prayed to Apollo. God heard him, for he loved the man dearly. He shot us. The deadly shafts fell all over our camp. The people died in heaps. Our prophet knew what it meant, and told us Shutafar's mind. I stood up at once and advised them to pacify the god, but the king fell in a rage and threatened me. And now he has made good his threat. They are sending a ship to Chryse with offerings for the god, and the heralds have just gone from my hut and taken away the girl, Brisis, whom the people had given to me. Do help your son if you can. Go to Olympus, pray to Zeus, if you have ever pleased him and served him by word or deed. How often have I heard you boasting it to father at home, telling how you saved Cronian Thundercloud from violence and ruin, all by yourself, when there was a conspiracy in heaven. When there was a conspiracy in heaven. The other Olympians wanted to tie him up, Hera and Poseidon and Pallas Athena, but you came and saved him from that, by summoning old Hundred Hand, whom the gods call Briareus, but all men call Aegean. He is stronger than his own father, Poseidon. Hundred Hand came in and sat down beside Zeus, triumphant. Blessed gods were frightened and did not tie him up. Remind him of that, mother. Fall down and clasp his knees. See if he will help the Trojans and drive the Achaeans back to their ships with slaughter. Let them enjoy their king. Let his gracious majesty King Agamemnon know his own delusion when he would not respect the best man of all. Then Thetis answered as the tears ran down her cheeks. Oh, okay, so Thetis is Achilles' mom. Then Thetis answered as the tears ran down her cheeks, Oh, my poor child, why did I ever bring you up for such a dreadful fate? Why could you not have stayed behind? Why could you not have been spared tears and tribulation? Since your life is but a minute, no long day indeed. But now you have both a speedy doom and sorrow beyond all men. Indeed, it was a cruel fate you were born for. Very well, I will tell your story to Zeus Thunderer. I will go myself to snowy Olympus, and see if I can persuade him. Achilles is the son of Zeus? What? Thetis is his mother? Be sure now to stay beside your ships, and be as angry as you like, but keep clear of battle altogether. For Zeus went yesterday to the ocean stream on a visit to the pious Ethiopians, for a feast, and all the other gods with him. But he will be back in 12 days, and then I will go at once to the brazen halls and make my prayer. I think I can persuade him. And there she left him, brooding over the loss of his beautiful Briseis, whom they had torn from him against his will. But Odysseus, Odysseus, came safely to Chryse with his holy offerings. They entered the deep harbor and furled the sails and stowed them below. Quickly they lowered the mast into the crutch, and rowed the ship to her moorings, where they dropped the anchor stones and made fast the hawsers. They landed and carried out the offering for Apollo Shootifar. Chrysis landed also, and Odysseus led her to the altar and gave her into her father's arms with these words: Chryses, my lord Agamemnon has sent me to bring your daughter back with a holy offering for Phoebus on behalf of the Danaans. That we may propitiate the Lord who has lately sent mourning and trouble upon the people. We got to remember that one. He gave her into her father's arms, and he received his daughter with joy. The men quickly set the holy offerings around the altar, then washed their hands and took up the barley grains. Chryses lifted up his hands and prayed aloud, Hear me, silver bow, thou who dost bestride Chryse and holy Kylla. Thou who art the mighty lord of Tenedos, verily thou hast heard my prayer, and done me honor, and smitten hard the Achaean people. Grant me now again this boon. Even now save the Danaans from this dire pestilence. Called off the dogs. Good. So he prayed, and Phoebus Apollo heard his prayer. And when all had prayed and cast the barley grains, they first drew back the heads and killed and flayed, carved out the thigh slices and rolled them between pieces of fat, and laid more raw flesh upon them. Then the old priest burnt them upon sticks of wood, and poured sparkling wine over, while the young men held their 5-pronged forks ready by his side. After thigh pieces were burnt and the inner parts were divided, they chopped up the rest and ran splits through the meat, roasted all properly and drew it off. This work done, they prepared their meal and enjoyed it, and no one lacked a fair share. When they had all had enough, the lads filled the bowls to the brim and served the wine to all after spilling the sacred drops. The server poured out a few drops into each man's goblet, which then spilled on the ground with a prayer. Then the server filled the goblet and passed it on. One for the homies. So all day long the young men of Achaia appeased the god with sweet music, singing the healer's chant, a hymn to the far worker, and his heart was glad to hear. When the sun set, and darkness came, they lay down to rest beside their moorings. But as soon as dawn showed her rosy fingers through the mist, at once they rose and sailed for their own camp. Apollo, far worker, sent them a following breeze. They lifted the mast and spread the white sails. The wind filled the great sail. Purple waves swished and poppled against the stem. The ship ran free on her way over the waters. At last, they arrived at their camp, and drew the ship ashore high on the sands. and set up the long line of dog shores, then all scattered among the huts and the ships. But Achilles brooded still over his anger, and did not move from his vessel. He never went to the meeting place, never to the battlefield, but wore out his heart where he was, although he longed for war and battle. When the 12th day dawned, the gods returned to Olympus in a body, led by Zeus. Thetis did not forget her son's request, but she came out of the sea, and early in the morning she climbed to Olympus in the highest heavens. She found all-seeing Cronades sitting apart from the rest of the topmost peak of craggy Olympus. There she knelt before him, and threw her arm about his knees, catching his chin with the right hand as she made her prayer. O Father Zeus, if ever I have served you by word or deed, grant me this boon. Give honor to my son. He of all others is to die an early death, but now see how my lord Agamemnon has insulted him. He has taken his prize, and keeps it. He has robbed my son himself. Satisfy my son, Zeus Olympian most wise. Let the Trojans prevail, until the Achaean nation shall satisfy my son and magnify him with honor. Zeus Cloud-gatherer did not answer, but long sat silent. And Thetis, how she clasped his knees, how she clung fast to him and cried out once more, Say yes now, and promise me faithfully, or else say no, for you have nothing to fear. Show me that you care less for me than for any god in heaven. Zeus answered in great vexation, Bother it all, you'll set me worrying with Hera and make her scold me again. She is always at me as it is before them all, and says I helped the Trojans to win. You just go away again now, and don't let Hera see. I will manage to do what you want. Look here, I will bow my head to you, that you may believe me. That is my sure and certain sign here among us. When I bow my head, my word can never be recalled, and never deceive, and never fail. As he spoke, Cronion bowed his black brows. He bowed his black brows. The Lord's ambrosial locks swung forward from his immortal head, and high Olympus quaked. So they had their talk and parted. Thetis dived from the radiant Olympus into the deep sea, and Zeus entered his own hall. All the gods rose up from their seats to receive their father. Not one of them dared sit still, but all rose up to greet him. So he took his seat upon his throne. But Hera had seen. She knew there had been a confabulation, and a visit from Silverfoot Thetis, the daughter of the old man of the sea. She lost no time in scolding at Zeus Cronion. Who is it this time? She began. Who has been confabulating with you now, you deceiver? You always like to go behind my back and make secret plans and lay down the law. You never would tell me a word of your notions if you could help it. The father of men and gods made answer. My dear Hera, do not expect to know everything I say. You must not expect as much that, although you are my wife, whatever is proper for you to hear, you shall be the first to hear before any in heaven or earth. But when I choose to consider things by myself, do not be inquisitive and ask questions about everything. Lovers' quarrel. Queen Hera said at once, opening her fine eyes. Oh, you dreadful creature, what a thing to say! I inquisitive? I ask you questions? I never did such a thing in my life. I just leave you alone, and you decide whatever you choose. But I am dreadfully afraid this time. I can't put it out of my mind that you may be cajoled by Silverfoot Thetis, that daughter of the old man of the sea. Early this morning she was kneeling and clasping your knees. I suppose you bowed your head and promised faithfully to honor Achilles and kill crowds on the battlefield. Zeus Cloud-gatherer answered, You are a strange creature, always supposing, always watching me, but you shall gain nothing by it. You will only make me dislike you more, and that will only be more unpleasant for you. If this is as you say, it must be my pleasure. Silence, please, and sit down. and do what I tell you. All the gods in Olympus will not help you if I come near and lay my heavy hands upon you. Oh, jeez, Zeus. Settle down. This frightened the queen. She sat down in silence and took herself in hand. But the other gods were disturbed, and Hephaestus, the master craftsman, was the first to speak. He took his mother's side and said, "Bother it all! It is really too bad if you two quarrel like this about mortals and make a brawl among the gods. What's the pleasure in good fare with bad manners everywhere? My advice to my mother is this, and she knows it is good. Give way to dear Father Zeus, and don't let Father scold any more and spoil our breakfast. What if Olympian flash lightning... What if Olympian flash lightning choose to knock us out of our seats? He is much stronger than we are. Now, speak him fair and gentle. Olympian will be kind in 1 minute." Then he jumped up and put the double cup in her hand, saying, "Be patient, dear mother. Bear it patiently, although it hurts. I love you, and I don't want to see you beaten before my eyes. I shall not be able to help you then, however sorry I am, for Olympian is hard to tackle. Once before I tried to help you, and he caught me by the leg and threw me from the threshold of heaven. All day long I fell, and at sunset down I came in Lemnos, with very little breath left in my body. There I fell, and the Sintians looked after me, those great Sintians." Queen Hera smiled at this, and smiling received the cup from her son's hand. Then he drew sweet nectar from the bowl, and carried it to all the gods, moving round right ways, as the sun goes, as the clock goes, through the buttonhole, keeping the company on the right hand. Laughter unquenchable rose among the blessed gods, who, when they saw Hephaestus butler puffing about the hall. Butler puffing? About the hall. So they feasted all day until sunset, and there was no lack. Plenty to eat and drink, a splendid harp with Apollo to play it, and the muses singing turn by turn in their lovely voices. But when the bright light of the sun sank down, they went each to his room for sleep. For the famous Crookshank Hephaestus had built them each a chamber by his clever skill, and Zeus Olympian Flash Lightning went to his own bed, where he used to sleep sound when slumber came upon him. Into that bed he climbed and slept, with Queen Hera by his side. Well, we're in for a treat here with this one, aren't we? Tune in next time for Book 2, how a dream came with a message from Zeus, and how the Achaeans debated in their camp the names and numbers of the two hosts. These are some long like little taglines for each book here, but that's kind of cool. Okay, coming up, Book 2. We'll check you next time for the Iliad by Homer. The Iliad. The Iliad.